Hey guys, it's Thursday, which means it's my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you today. I am super excited about today. This is a standard thing that we do every single quarter. I'm hoping it doesn't go too long, but we do have about 19 or 20 questions that were sent in that we are going to go over today. Today is our Q2 kind of like overview live question and answer stream. So what we basically do is go through our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook group and our Instagram and TikTok accounts and scrub through to see if there are any questions that we either saw a pattern that multiple people were asking or anything that we believe can benefit anybody else on our YouTube channel. So if you guys are here today, we are going to go through a good handful of questions that were submitted by your peers in the Etsy or e-com space. But if you guys also have anything that you want to ask while you are on this, you can absolutely pop it in the chat and either myself or my team will get back to you on this live stream as well, okay? So if there's anything that you happen to see while we're going through the questions and you have a follow-up question about one of those things, go ahead and pop it in the live chat. Or if it's something completely unrelated that you just thought about that you would like to get our feedback on or our advice or our guidance on, feel free to pop that in the live chat as well. As always, this video is going to be like recorded, if you will, for you. So you're going to be able to come back and watch this replay at any time. And you can always access the live chat as well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and literally just get started and try to save you guys some time in your Thursday. Let's go ahead and share our screen. And you can see this is the Q2 live EverBee Q&A. So we actually are breaking it down into 3 different sections today because there were a handful of people who had questions about Etsy, a handful of people who had questions about EverBee Store, and then a handful of like miscellaneous things. So I'm going to actually open up a couple of different things in the background. You guys cannot see this obviously, but I'm going to open up a couple of different things in the background so that we can be actually seeing these questions together. So it's not something that I'm just going to answer. I'm actually going to show you how I got to certain things in the background, but I have all of those just hanging out. Let me delete some things real fast. Get all of these things gone. Perfect. So I have all of those things just hanging out in the background so we can go ahead and start answering. Oh, sorry guys, something is going on with my computer. Again, it happened last week too. Okay, sorry. I hope I am not frozen for you guys because it just was mad at me for a second. But we're going to go ahead and go through the Etsy store questions first. And if I need to pull up Etsy or EverBee Research to show you any of the answers, I absolutely will. So the first question, and I literally just copied and pasted these. So if there's grammatical, spelling errors, any of the sort, not my fault. I just copied and pasted them, but we're going to get through them all together. Is there a way to look at my store in more detail to see if I have listings that have absolutely never made a sale and only got maybe a couple of views a year so that she can clean up her shop? Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and show you exactly how to do that real fast. Let me get logged into EverBee on my Chrome extension. As you guys know, I never use, for some reason, I never use Microsoft Edge for this. I always use Chrome. So I'm going to go ahead and log into that real fast. And then I'm actually going to show you exactly how to get here. It's super easy. This is something new. I mean, new-ish. It's almost been a year, to be honest. But something like new-ish that the team brought back to life in EverBee. I want to say it was last November. So November of 2024. This is how you're going to be able to find it. So let me go ahead and present this other screen real fast. I wish I could show 2 things at once. That would be super duper awesome. But alas, I cannot. All right, so you guys should be seeing my Etsy screen right now. Let me just put you on my other screen to confirm that everyone sees everything they need to see. All right, so what we're going to basically do is on the left-hand side, when you're going to be under EverBee Research, obviously you can click this button up here to go to the remainder of the EverBee apps that we have. But in this case, we are going to be in research, and it's up to you, of course. You don't have to be on Etsy to do this. You could simply go to everbee.io and log into your EverBee Research account and still get the exact same thing that I do. But in this case, I logged into Etsy. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and go to my shop. Now, mine won't show anything because I don't have anything, but because this is a demo store, obviously. But if I did, what I would do would be go to my shop, and then I'm going to go to my listings. And as you can see, there's nothing here. But if I had them, then I would basically go over here and click filter. And then I would go to, it's up to you, completely up to you, whichever one you want to do this. But I usually say total sales. And then I want to bring this baby to the top. So basically what that's going to do, again, I don't have it in front of me, but if I were in one of your shops, I would go to my shop. I would go to listings, I would go to filter, and then I would filter up by total sales with 0 being at the top. So usually we're doing it the opposite way, that we want to find all of the ones that did super well, all of the ones that had a bunch of sales. In this case, we want to flip it because we're trying to find the ones that did not do so hot. Okay. So that's the exact way that you can do that in EverBee Research very simply, rather than having to like just scroll through Etsy or scroll through your Etsy store to try to find that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add the other one to stage now so that we can get back to our original game plan. Hope that answers your question. And if anybody else, again, has any other questions about how to use the My Shop, feel free to ask. All right, moving on to the next one. This one was funny. I just copied and pasted it, to be honest, but I don't think I fully understand Etsy tags. Does Etsy use each tag individually, or is it using keywords across other tags or across tags? Sorry, my phone is vibrating a lot right now. For example, if you list, oh, speaking of phones, that's funny. For example, if you list phone cases, is it better to do iPhone 15 Pro case, iPhone 14 Pro Max, etc., the exact search terms someone would use, or iPhone 15, 16, 17, or good Lord, 16, 15, 14, and use a more variety of words? This is such a good question, and it's such an interesting one because there are so many different phones out there, right? So in this particular case, there's a lot of variety, and we only have 13 tags, right, to play with. So what I would recommend personally, and this is, there were some answers to this too for some other people as well. There are basically 2 different types of Etsy keywords. So it's more like exact match and then like query matching, I think is what it's called. I mean, I don't want to say it wrong, but in this case, an exact match, for example, would be, let's say it's an iPhone 14 Pro Max cottage core case. Okay, that is like a very exact match. So someone is absolutely typing that. Absolutely, I'm just making this up. But someone is definitely typing that into the search bar because they have an iPhone 14 Pro Max and they are also looking for a cottage core phone case. Okay, so you want to do as many exact matches as you can, or you want to try to land on as many exact matches as you can. So what I would actually do in this case, instead of having, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That technically, if we think about Pro and Pro Max, this could technically be 8 different keywords or more, actually. If we're just talking about 2 to 3 different numbers, so 14, 15, 16. And that means we only got like 5 spaces left, 5 to 6 spaces left, which I don't think is the best idea. What I would recommend instead is really filling out which ones are being most prevalently searched. So again, we could use EverBee Research to figure out which ones are being searched in volume and also have the least amount of competition, hopefully. And then what I recommend doing is actually duplicating that listing that you have. You don't really have to change anything else except for the SEO and maybe the front thumbnail cover. What I would recommend here is if you do have something that has multiple different variants of this case, but could also be something that people are actively really looking up over and over again, I would recommend actually just doing each of those justice. So instead of just having one listing and then having like 8 tags be for 3 different types of phones, 3 times, 2 or whatever, be 3 different types of phones, and then only having a little bit of space left to actually talk about what the design actually is, I would actually duplicate that listing however many times you want to hit iPhone 14, iPhone 15, iPhone 16. And then you can have up to, 3 to 5 different keywords that are related to that particular phone, related to that particular phone, related to that particular phone. And then from there, you have like 8 keywords that are going to be a little bit more about the design, a little bit about more, who the gift could be for, who the phone case should be given to, etc. So I would recommend also, we just recently launched, I want to say it was about 5 weeks ago. We launched a new 2025 updated Etsy SEO video. I want to say it was like maybe 15 or so minutes. It's not too hard to understand. I made it as like digestible as possible, but it is the most updated version for 2025 for Etsy SEO. We go over tags and titles and query matching extensively within that video. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, in tandem with what I just said to answer this question, I would recommend checking that out next. Okay, hope that makes sense. Moving on to the next one. I have a question regarding duplicating listings. Does Etsy have a question, or what? Does Etsy have an issue with duplicate listings? For example, if I am having good sales with one, should I duplicate it to increase sales? Or if I wanted to change some tags and SEO to reflect the upcoming Q4 season, could they do that? So I actually responded to this person on Facebook, but this is something that we've actually gotten multiple times over the past couple of months. So I decided to bring it to the forefront with you guys today. The answer is absolutely. You can definitely make more than one of these. It's called A/B testing. So basically, either you are testing how a thumbnail works versus a different thumbnail, or you're testing how SEO works versus different SEO. Or you are also not even testing necessarily. You're just getting double exposure for different seasons, like he or she said. So this is definitely something you absolutely can do. And we actually highly recommend it, especially if you are getting into a new niche, or especially if you are getting into a new product type, or especially if you are trying to basically revive dead listings. So instead of trying to revive that listing, maybe you can actually duplicate it and see if we just tweak the SEO, if we just tweak the thumbnail photo, like could it be revived that way? And then we can actually delete the old one if that's the case. So yes, this absolutely can be done. It is not against Etsy policy whatsoever. We just highly recommend that you only change one thing if you want to test. If you want to change a bunch of different things and you're not necessarily testing, you just want like double exposure, you can totally do that. But if you are trying to actually test something, we recommend only changing one thing per test. And then maybe letting the test go for like 30 to 45 days and then determining, okay, that worked or that didn't work. Let's move on to the next test. Okay, hope that makes sense. All right, while defining digital product listings, what would be the quantity? Because there are unlimited downloads, so true, and there is no physical limit like physical products. So what should we write in the quantity? This is actually a question that I've gotten so many times, and I don't know why I never thought to tell you guys this, like anytime that we've talked about digital products before. What I do personally, and you can do this however you want, there's 2 different strategies that I personally use. The first one is the standard option of $9.99. So $999 available. And then you can just up that you can update that as things start to sell. So like if you sell a good amount of product on a monthly basis, let's say you sell 500 of that digital product in volume on a monthly basis, you're going to have to consistently update that, because then it would be like $4.99 and then it would be like $1.99, right? So keep that in mind. But the standard answer is $9.99. However, my secondary strategy, which is actually kind of my primary strategy, but I wanted to say the other one first because that's more standardized. My primary strategy, because I sell digital products that are a little bit more high ticket. So one of my courses, for example, is almost $900. It's actually exactly $900. It's $897. The other one that I have is $347. Other one I have is $97. So I really, really don't go lower unless it's like recently, just so you guys know, totally off topic here, but I just recently started making like custom GPTs for people. So it's basically like having me in their pocket as a coach, as a guide to do certain things. So a quick example is like, I did this one, that was like a UGC script builder and like filming directions. So instead of having to go into Charles over and over and over again and be like, hi, I need you to create a 30-second video for me, I created a custom GPT for my people that was like, hey, Charles already has all of the instructions that he needs. You just need to fill out these questions. And then once you fill out those questions, he will do exactly what I taught him for you. So I'm selling a couple of those right now. Those are like, I'm doing a bundle, so it's going to be like $27 to $47, I believe. But even so, those aren't really low ticket if you think about it. Because if you're on Etsy, low ticket could be literally $1, which is crazy to me. That's why I don't sell digital products on Etsy anymore. However, when I did sell digital products on Etsy, I still made a buttload of sales at higher ticket prices with this one strategy. I would actually put it as low stock or low quantity on the things that I knew were going to be a little bit more difficult to sell. Not more difficult to sell per se, but like it's a higher ticket item. So it's like it takes a little bit more convincing. And one of the marketing tactics to have more convincing is urgency and scarcity. So I would have discounts that only lasted 48 hours so that they can see that countdown. That's my urgency. And then scarcity would be only 5 left, grab yours now. So that's another thing that you can do depending on what you're selling. So if you're doing something that is like a custom digital product that requires personalization, if you're doing a custom service offering, it's something else that I've offered on YouTube in the past, or on Etsy in the past, or if you're doing a higher ticket digital product, you can also think about that scarcity option that I used as well. Okay. But for everybody else, you can straight up do $9.99 or whatever number you feel comfortable with, because that is like unlimited in Etsy's eyes. You don't want to really go higher than that. But anything else under that is also safe as well. Good question. Oh, that's a big one. This one's funny to me too. Am I making sense? All right. So you create a bundle of 3 of your existing products. Do you then remove the individual listings of these products? If not, does this ever confuse buyers? So this was actually a question they had about digital product bundling. So I've recommended in the past that you can have like multiple things be together in one. So like I just mentioned a second ago, my custom GPTs. I think what I'm going to do, I haven't decided yet, but I think what I'm going to do is like 7 for 27 or something like that. So it'll be like 7 custom GPTs for UGC creators. It'll be 7 custom GPTs for YouTube creators, 7 custom GPTs for Etsy sellers, etc. So for $27. So that would be a bundle of digital products. So she's asking, I had a junk journal pages product, matching tags product, matching papers product, etc., all listed individually. Somebody bought, I'm assuming is what this is. Again, I copy and paste it. Somebody bought the papers product and realized later there is a bundle with more stuff, including the thing they already bought. Would that confuse them / would that upset them? So my answer to this is yes, it probably would confuse and upset. So what we don't want to do is have a bunch of different bundles and individual pieces unless they are all linked together. So what I mean by that, let's just say, for example, I'm not doing this for my own business, but let's say I was. Let's say I had an Etsy store where I was selling those custom GPTs. Okay. So I have each of them all out individually. Let's say they're all $1. I'm just making this up as I go, but let's say it's $1 for your UGC video builder custom GPT. The second one is how to optimize any Etsy listing GPT, whatever it is. All of these are just individually $1. And then at the end, there's 7 listings. And then there's one listing that is 7 for 27. So you can get all of these for $27, or again, obviously I suck at math, so I made it not make sense. Okay, let's go back. Let's do it again. Let's say each of them is $5. So then 7 times 5 would be 35. Or you can get the bundle of 7 for 27. So you're saving $8, right? That's what I should have said in the first place, because the bundle needs to be sexy. There needs to be a reason other than getting all of them at one time and not having to press add to cart and buy now 7 times, right? So let's say I made it sexy for them. What would not make sense here is for the person to find the bundle listing and then purchase it and then never know that the individuals exist, and vice versa. So let's say they find the UGC video builder and they buy it and they spend $5 on it. But then they go back to my page after they've already purchased it and they realize that they could have got all of them for 27 bucks and realize that the other custom GPTs could really help their business out. So with that said, what I want you guys to do to make it where they are not confused and they're not upset is we are going to put information in the photo. You have 10 photo slides, right? So make one of those slides pretty prominent. I would say number 2 or number 3. So make this either photo 2 or photo 3, letting them know that you offer a bundle, or on the other end of it, that you offer individual listings. So you're basically going to have one photo that's going to have all 7 of them. So 5 and 2, 4 and 3, whatever you want to do, that's going to show the 7 different products. And then you're going to then you're going to say, do you want all of these for $27? Check the description. Or on the other end, if you do not need all 27, if you do not need all 7 of these, you can buy these individually, check the description. So something of that nature needs to be on your second or third photo slide. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is I also want you to pop it in your description as well. So in the description, again, it should be kind of above the fold. It should be kind of high up. It shouldn't be all the way in the middle, because a lot of people are not going to go through 10 photos and a lot of more people are not going to scroll through your entire description. So we're going to have our metadata 55 to 150 characters at the beginning, telling Google exactly what your listing is. Maybe you can have a paragraph or 2 sentences or so telling, Google and Etsy who the listing is for. And then right under that, we should have either the link to the bundle or the link to the individual listings. Okay. I hope that makes sense, but I highly, highly recommend, if you are considering bundling anything, that they can also buy individually or vice versa, that you make it very known in what you are selling on both listings, which again, in this case, there would be like 8 listings, but however many you have. Another option, by the way, this kind of goes back to our original, can I duplicate listings concept? If you also, this is something else I've done and it worked really well, actually. If you actually do a variation. Okay. So there's only a handful of variations that you can do on Etsy. So this might not be the case anymore. It used to be a thing like 2 years ago when I was doing this. I don't know if you can do this anymore, but I'm just thinking out loud, something else you could possibly do. And you can definitely do this on EverBee Store, by the way, but maybe not on Etsy. So just something to think about. So you could drop down the menu. And also this could help you, by the way, with getting more traffic and getting more views, because it's that lost leader concept where you are basically going to have like very small amounts for certain products and larger amounts for others, right? So like your $27 listing is going to be maybe not as sexy to people who are on the digital products like search page and they're seeing like $1.50, $5, all of those different things next to your $27 product, even though you and I both know it's a bundle. So what you could do, again, I don't have Etsy up, so I can't say this with 100% certainty, but I know you can do this on Stan Store, on EverBee Store, on Kajabi, on ClickFunnels, literally everything else except for Etsy, is if you have variations. So if you have one listing that basically says, like, you drop down the little menu and it's like, choose what you want. So like you choose your colors, you choose your sizes. In this case, we're going to choose, do we want this custom GPT, this one, this one, this one, this one, or do we want the bundle? So it'll be like custom GPT, UGC builder, custom GPT, Etsy shop builder, bundle, right? So it could have those 8 different variations on a drop-down menu under one listing as well. So I would be interested to see if that kind of concept performed for you rather than the putting all of the links in the listings. Because if you can just do, let's think. If you can just do one big listing, which would have the variations of everything, one $27 bundle listing, then I think you can actually get away without having to make any more listings. But if you can't, then I would say then we can go the other route of having one bundle listing, one variation listing with everything included that they can choose from, and then 7 individual smaller listings. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I kind of went a little bit deeper than probably anyone asked for on that one. But that is one way that I've been able to make a buttload of money with DPs. So I want to make sure that like you guys can see the like other ways to think about this rather than just listing a digital product for $1.50, which is unfortunately a lot of what I see on Etsy right now. All right, let's move on. I have an Etsy shop with POD products. Should I start a new shop for digital products? Great question. And this is something that we, like I said, most of these questions either we get often or we think it could help you guys on YouTube. That's what these are, right? So this one I've gotten probably 100 times since I started working with EverBee a year and a half ago. That's how prevalent this question is. And you guys might also be thinking this right now, especially as we start to put out more and more digital product tutorials. And I give you ideas like I just did about how I'm able to make, I want to say I'm at like $180 now. I think I was 160 earlier this year. And I think now we're at like 180,000 in digital product sales, which is crazy. Like that's huge. That's a lot of money when you really think about it, considering, like it's not a physical product that they get, but it's because, again, my products are a little bit more high ticket. So if you want to also maybe consider doing something of the sort and adding DPs into your wheelhouse or your game plan for your business, you might also have this question. Or let's think about something else. Let's think about you going to EverBee Store. Let's say you're already on EverBee Store, or Etsy with a print-on-demand business, and you kind of want to add maybe digital products because you like that concept of potentially more passive income rather than the more active handmade or print-on-demand income. Either way, hopefully this helps. So what we're going to do with this is I'm going to basically ask you 1 to 2 questions and you're going to get your answer. Number 1 is to the POD products niches who you are currently hitting right now. Let's say you have 3 niches. Let's say it's like dog lovers, Halloween lovers, and I can't think of anything else right now. And Tumblr lovers, just because I happen to have my Tumblr in front of me, right? So let's say we have those 3 people. Do you believe, if you were to look at your shop, that those 3 types of people, that they would benefit from digital products? If the answer is no, do not put them in your store. Then you would want to create a new shop completely unrelated to your current shop of digital products, okay? However, if we go back to those 3 people, let's think, I don't remember what I said. Dog products, Halloween, and tumblers, right? So if we think about those 3 people and we really think about who they actually are and what would serve them, you can think of things like, let's say for dogs, I'm literally just making this up off the cuff, so hopefully it doesn't suck. Maybe like a house sitter how-to guide or something of that nature. Like that could be something that me, for example, I travel often, as you guys know, because you've seen a lot of backgrounds in my day here. So you have you travel often, but you have a dog and a cat, and you want to make sure that the house sitter knows everything they need to know before you leave, whatever, you can give them that digital product. So that's one example of like a DP that would work really, really well for that person. Let's say a DP for a Tumblr. I can't think of one, to be honest, but let's just say the person that has this Tumblr is also someone who's really into fitness. So maybe you have something like a sticker or something that's like again, digital, like it's a printable thing that they can have that maybe is like a reminder to drink their water, or it is a macro tracker and water consumption template, like whatever it is. I'm literally making this up as we go, but something that makes sense for those individual buyers of the POD products. Could they also benefit from digital? If the answer is no, and you can't seem to figure out how to make it make sense, or maybe you are someone who just has a generalized store that targets like 70 different niches, then yes, I want you to create a new digital store from scratch. And as it relates to the digital store, you can have a general digital store, by the way. You technically could. But what I would recommend is a more niched down store to a particular type of buyer across a lot of different things. I don't know if that makes sense, but just thinking out loud, let's say Tumblr sublimation designs. That is something that one of our co-hosts that we had on a couple weeks ago, Bailey Van, look her up on YouTube. She actually started her business with making tumblers from scratch. Then she started selling those digital products of these sublimation designs for tumblers. And she has 10,000 designs across multiple different niches, like hundreds of different niches. However, she only has one audience. right? I mean, technically, I guess she has two audiences. So the first audience is going to be someone who buys digital products from her to then resell tumblers. Okay. So they have a business where they print tumblers, sublimation printing tumblers, and they don't want to make all the designs themselves. So they buy it from Bailey and then they can sell that easily, right? Then we have our second person who just wants the tumbler design to make their own tumblers for themselves. Like that's just something where like they want, like, I'm boring. All of my, you can literally, there's two of them right here. I'm boring. My tumblers are one color. I don't have anything cool. But let's say I wanted something cool, then I could just grab it from Bailey and print it out myself, print it in my home. So that's what I mean by when you have digital products, it could be a bunch of across a bunch of freaking niches, but it needs to be really talking to like 1 to 3 maximum people in your shop. For example, I'm going to give you another one from my business. So I actually, I think I talked to 3 people. I would say maybe 4, but I'm going to say 3 because I can kind of like group 2 people together technically. I help content creators build and manage and scale their businesses, excuse me. I help what else do I do? I help freelancers, build, manage, and scale their businesses. So like a freelancer could be someone who like edits blog posts. So they're not a content creator. So they are separated, right? So that's why I would have those as 2 people. And the third person I help is like you guys. So anybody who wants to build an online business who are not in those other 2 buckets, right? So I have to have digital products that make sense for all 3 of those. And then the fourth one, I said the fourth, because like I can kind of like loop you guys in with freelancers a little bit. It's a little bit different though. But my fourth one is I help businesses, right? So EverBee, for example, like I help clients help their audiences, right? So I create content to help their audiences. I go live on YouTube to help their audiences, whatever it is. So each of those 3 to 4 people need different types of digital products, right? But they're technically all under the same umbrella. So that's what I meant by there's like this big overarching thing that you're trying to do, let's say sublimation tumbler designs, and then you have these 2 or 3 people under it. In my case, it's like content creator and content creator mentor, and then all these different things under it, right? So I hope that makes sense. If you are going the direction of digital products, I highly recommend niching it down a little bit more than you might have for the POD space. Okay. Hope that helps. Moving on. All right. So the next thing, so we're done with the Etsy ones. Obviously, hopefully my team has been answering all of your questions live in the chat as well. But now we're going to move on to our MISC. I think there's only one of these, to be honest. And I did this very intentionally because like, if you guys are not, and I hope that you are, but if you're not interested in EverBee Store, I'm not going to make you sit here and listen to me talk about EverBee Store for 30 minutes. So what I did was I want to really focus on you guys as a whole. And I put Etsy in the front load, the first half of this, and I got like one little miscellaneous question, and then we're going to get into EverBee Store questions. If you have even the slightest inclination that you would like to learn more about EverBee Store, I do highly recommend staying. But if you were just here for the Etsy questions, that is totally fine. You can drop off after this MISC question, okay? All right. Is anyone else? This is an interesting one, so I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of this. Is anyone else having trouble with their Canva template links? I had 2 customers have to request access to an already active template link. It seems to be a glitch of some sort. This happened around 3 days ago, etc. I'm very, very sad to say that this is not a glitch. Unfortunately, I think it was June 3rd, June 5th, something like that, something earlier in the month of June. So last month, Canva did an update to all of their template links where now only people who are premium, or I think it's called pro subscribers to Canva, which I think is like 12 to 13 bucks a month. They are the only ones that are going to be able to access template links. So this is really something that I want you guys to look into. Let me actually pull this up for you real fast. So Canva template links update. Let me see if I can find it fast for you. You can totally do what I'm doing, by the way, and just straight up like go into Google and find this. This is also not straight from, let me share the screen instead. This is not straight from Canva. This is just like a random blog I found. But let's see. Let me see if I can find it real fast. June 2nd. There we go. So starting June 2nd, Canva template links will become a premium feature only. That means if you or your customers are on Canva's free plan, you'll lose the ability to create and in some cases open shared templates unless you upgrade. So something that is really, really important to note is if you are, let me click this button again. If you are selling digital products like I am, by the way, this is really annoying. It just really ruined my day because I literally can no longer sell my templates to free people. I say free people, like people who are on the Canva free plan. And it sucks because I create these templates all the time and I sell them all the time. So it was like a real big wrench in my business plan. So basically what I had to do, and what I recommend you guys doing too, if you are running into this, is first of all, you're going to need to, unfortunately, it's up to you. It's however you want to run your business. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but what I'm doing is reaching out to everybody, unfortunately, who purchased this. And it's really easy, by the way, if you have these things like split up appropriately, you can just like mass email them, as long as they're opted into your list, of course. But I can just mass email my people and be like, hey guys, this is an update that happened. I did this like 3 weeks ago. On June 2nd, there's nothing I can do about it. Unfortunately, I highly recommend, like Canva has so many new updates and many new upgrades. It is a really, really crucial tool to have in your content creator business. Plus, it's the only way that you're going to be able to continue accessing the thing that you had before if you haven't already opened the template. I recommend signing up for Canva Pro. Okay, so that's like the email that I sent out. If they have, by the way, this is very important news. If they have opened the template, they're Gucci. You do not have to worry about them because they now have that template that you gave them however long ago. They now have that in their Canva and it is their document. So it's not a template link anymore. So they can still edit it, which is awesome. But going forward, this means that you are no longer able to sell Canva template links to people who are not pro subscribers to Canva. So you won't know who that is, unfortunately, right? You can't ask everybody before you sell it. That's kind of the whole point of digital products. It's the whole point of passive income is because you don't got to be there when the sell happens, right? But you need to now do your due diligence going forward now that you know this information. If you did not know this information before today, I hope that this helped. But you're going to do a little bit more research on it. You're going to get down to brass tacks of exactly what is included and what isn't included, who is not included, etc. And then you're going to put that in your photos and you're going to put that in your description. Okay. So like, and just like what we talked about earlier about the bundling additional links concept, it needs to be like maybe even the thumbnail photo, if not the second photo, because what you don't want to do is someone to be like, ooh, that's sexy. That's only $1. That's going to help me so much. And they buy it and they can't access it. That's going to suck. And it's not going to be your fault necessarily because they didn't read, but you need to give them the information as many times as possible. So that's the one thing that I really, really wanted to say today. This is not an end all be all that you can't sell template links anymore. Absolutely not the case, but I would recommend either going back in time and talking to the people that you did sell these to, or at minimum going forward, making sure that any of your Canva template things that you're selling on Etsy, and anywhere else for that matter, because this is not just an Etsy thing, this is a Canva thing, right? So anywhere else that you're selling these, you need to make dang sure that they know that they have to have a pro subscription in order to purchase your item / access it. Okay. Hope that makes sense. All right, guys. So we are at 38:34. I am hoping that I can get through the last half of these. We are on number 11 of 24. So we're going to get into the EverBee Store questions next. If you have zero interest, which I hope that's not the case, but if you have zero interest in EverBee Store, you can hop off now and get 22 minutes back in your Thursday. But if you, like I said, even have the slightest inclination that you might want to learn a little bit, I'm going to go through the top most asked questions over the course of June, hopefully trying to get you guys out of here within 20 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And again, if you have any other questions of anything we already talked about or anything we are going to talk about, my team is answering you guys live in the chat. All right, let's move on. If I had a general store on Etsy, but I only wanted one of the niches from the general store moved over to EverBee Store, can I do that? So this is a very good question. And there is two ways that you can do this, okay? So the first thing is you have the ability to import from Etsy. So we have that, just click link and then like all of your Etsy stuff comes over super freaking fast, right? However, we cannot determine on the EverBee Store side what you want to not have, right? So all of your Etsy stuff's going to come over, right? So then now you have the opportunity to go in and publish the ones that you want to publish and not publish the ones that are not included in that niche. So that's answer number one, is you can do it, but it's not from Etsy to EverBee where you can do it. It's like on EverBee Store, you can click publish on only the ones you want. The second option is, takes a lot longer, but it's completely up to you. I'm going to give you both options. The second option is, depending on how big this niche is and depending on how much quantity of listings you have within that niche, you can actually just start an EverBee Store or an EverBee product database from scratch. So let's say you have 100 listings in your Etsy store, 20 of which are this niche that you want to bring over. Awesome. Totally fine. You can literally start from scratch by just building each individual product up from the ground up on EverBee Store rather than importing over. So it's completely up to you. It can be done, but it's just a little bit of two different workarounds that you have to do, rather than like, what would be cool, of course, is if we had like when Etsy goes to EverBee for us to just like check and uncheck. We can't do that. That's not how the interface works or how the importing works. So just keep that in mind. There are two workarounds if you wanted to, though. Good question. All right. Can I have the different types of services all in one store, like having physical products, digital, POD, subscriptions? The answer is absolutely. I'll go ahead and show you mine. You more than likely, if you've been on our EverBee Lives for the past couple of weeks, since the beginning of June, you probably have seen mine, but I am going to show you real fast, just so if you haven't been here, you can see it again. This is my EverBee Store. Super, hopefully cute. Oh no, I messed up my photos. I'll fix that. So hopefully you guys like it. Super cute, whatever. We love it. Awesome. So the question was, can we, one second, guys. Sorry, my phone was ringing and I don't want you guys to hear a bunch of zzz in the background. All right, so you can see here I have merch. This is going to be all of the POD stuff. So let's just say we go to Creator Hats, for example. This is all of the stuff. What are you seeing right now is the question, not what I see. Hold on. Share this tab instead. So this is all of the print on demand products, obviously only, related to hats. So this is the stuff that's coming over from Printify. Then we also have the Learn place. So this is going to be, let's see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. You are, yay. So I have freebies right here. So these are actually just digital products that are completely free. So this is for opt-ins for emails. This takes them to my YouTube channel. This takes them to a membership group. So I could click on join here, and then they would be able to pay, hello. Is it working? There we go. They would be able to pay $27 a month to be a part of my membership community. Let me get out of here real fast. So that's the membership piece they were talking about. Then we also have a place for the main courses that we sell as well. So they could easily grab their seat in each of these. I also, by the way, if I go to coaching, I also sell my time, which is kind of cool. So a custom coaching consult, they could book a free call here that's like 15 minutes to see if am I showing you the right thing? Yes. To see if we are a good fit. They can also join a Slack membership with me. So they actually can book that right here. If they want to just do a 60-minute Zoom call with me to get a business strategy for themselves, they can book the strategy call here. So the answer to your question in layman's terms is abso-stinkin-lutely. You can definitely sell all of them in one place as long as it makes sense. Again, sorry, one second. As long as it makes sense, again, for your end buyer. The same way that I discussed the concept of like, do I need to be on a POD and digital, or do I need to have them split? It's the exact same concept here. If your end ideal buyer can benefit from the things that you're selling, the answer is abso-stinkin-lutely. Okay, good question. All right, what happens with digital listings for an EverBee store? Only titles, descriptions, and images would be imported, right? If I have 500 plus digital listings, do I have to manually add in all those digital files? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. If you do have a bunch of digital listings on Etsy, you can absolutely import all of them over, like I mentioned a second ago, within like 2 to 3 clicks of a button. But it's like this for everything, by the way. If you had a Shopify, if you had a ClickFunnels, if you had anything like Wix, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have to reattach your digital product. So please keep that in mind. If you are a DP seller like I am, I did have to reattach everything when I started building from scratch. Good question. All right, how are domain names handled? Can you have your own domain name, or will all the domains have the My EverBee embedded into it? Very good question. Let me show you something real fast. I can't. That's so frustrating. So sometimes for some reason on this like app that I'm using, you guys sometimes can see my URL and then you sometimes can't. Like Microsoft Edge URLs are hidden. Chrome is not, whatever. So I'm just going to tell you the answer. So my website is technically evolutiondesigns.com. So that's my business. So that's my domain, evolutiondesigns.com, right? So I was able to pull my domain over from GoDaddy in order to have access to that on my EverBee store. However, people can still access my EverBee store by going to evolutiondesigns.myeverbee.com. So that is what they're asking, is like, is that going to be the only thing that I can use? Is it always going to have that myeverbee.slug? The answer is no, as long as you have your own custom domain. It is very simple to add that in. You would basically just like do some DNS settings. It's like kind of confusing when I'm saying it out loud right now. But let me see if I can find it for you real fast on here before I pull it up. I just don't want you guys to see my address. So I'm trying to find how to get here before I show you. All right, so in EverBee Store on the left-hand side, we're going to go to settings, and then it's going to take you to site settings, and then we're going to go to domain, and it's super stinking simple. As you can see, mine's already connected, so I'm not going to disconnect it, or else that would hurt my business. But all you're going to do is literally click connect or add or something of the sort over here, and then EverBee Store is going to literally tell you exactly what to put in the DNS records, which you will know once you get a domain. If you don't have a domain, DNS records means nothing to you right now, and I'm probably confusing you more than I'm helping you. But if you do have your own domain, you can absolutely go that direction, or you can easily use the myeverbee.slug as well. Completely up to you. All right, let's share this tab again. Sweet. All right, let's keep on going. Does EverBee Store have a way to process payments for customers who purchase items, or is that something we will have to set up ourselves? Great question. So we use Stripe, so Stripe. Highly recommend doing some research into them, but they are basically, if not the number one of the top payment processors in the world. So I use Stripe, for example, before I ever got on EverBee Store. So ClickFunnels is where I have my courses, use a Stripe. Stand Stores, where I had my digital products, use a Stripe. So I already had an account. So it was very simple for me to just be like, add EverBee Store products to it. And the same thing can happen for your Printify products, your courses, your handmade products, whatever you're selling on there, you're just going to all integrate them within Stripe. So it's going to be done on EverBee Store with Stripe being the payment person. So when you sign up for EverBee Store, hopefully, when you sign up for EverBee Store, again, it's only $1 for your first month and then $29 every month after that. When you sign up, there's actually going to be learning modules that I have personally built for you that is going to teach you exactly how to set up that Stripe account. Very simple. All right, for the monthly fee, is that just the store or is it one of the EverBee plans that comes with the store? Good question. So the $1 for the first month and $29 every month from there on until, like if you want to cancel or something, it's only however long you pay for it. We do have an annual plan that makes it a little bit cheaper too. So it's up to you to look into that for yourself. But the monthly fee is EverBee Store and all of its integrations, all of its interfaces, all of its capabilities for importing, blah, blah, blah. and EverBee email. So up to a certain threshold of emails, I think it's like 1,000 maybe, but you're able to get access to both EverBee email and EverBee Store for that one low price. EverBee Research, which is what we were looking at earlier when we did the My Shop concept, when we're trying to do what tags you should do on Etsy, all of those are going to be separate. So EverBee Research is its own separate product, unrelated to EverBee Store, but EverBee email helps you make more sales with EverBee Store. So both of them are included in that 29. Good question. All right. Do you have meta tag alt descriptions that we have to fill in for SEO? Good question. And I'm going to pull up my thing again real fast. All right, you guys should be looking at my products now. Well, you're not, but now you will be. Yes, that's a very, very good question. So what they're basically asking is, in order to get found and indexed on Google, you have to have, tags, you have to have alt text in your photos. Not you have to, but like we recommend it, just additional SEO. And then there needs to be a meta description of sorts, which basically is just the 155 to 160 first characters of your description on Etsy. That's pretty much what it is, right? So they're asking, do we have that on EverBee Store as well? The answer is 100% yes. Let's go ahead and click into this one, for example. And let's see, I have my clothing category chosen. I've got my variants, my prices. So it's going to be in the additional info section. So you guys should be looking at this where I'm actually built this right here. So you'll see the search engine listing is this. The tags are this, the collection, in this case, I'll just choose hats, for example. And then the page title and the meta description is required. So you'll see these are red because I don't have them. So it wants you to update them. So the title could be, I don't even know what I'm making right now, to be honest. Hold on. I forgot what I was doing. What is this product? Okay. Community over competition. There we go. All right. So I could say community over competition. And you can see this is building it for me in Google, right? So you can see that blue is moving. That is the title of the page. And then the meta description is going to be the 155 characters under it. So let's say vintage embroidered hat, something like that, for small business. It's too big. So let's just say for SBOs. Okay. Meta description could be, I don't really feel like writing all of this out, but let's just say this community over competition. We want to kind of say the same thing we just said in the title, to be honest. Embroidered hat comes in 3 colors for your favorite online business owner. Grab yours now before they run out. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go. But now you can see this is exactly what it's going to look like. Plus the hidden tags are also going to help you. All right. So this is what it's going to look like on Google. And that's exactly what they meant. And then I'm going to go ahead and click yes to have that updated now. All right. Hope that makes sense. We'll move on to the next question. Is EverBee Store just the shop front, but the purchases are actually made through Etsy? Would we be paying Etsy fees? Oh, no, sorry, not at all. So EverBee Store is a website. It's a completely different and unrelated to Etsy. The only thing that it's related to Etsy with is because you have the ability to import from Etsy because we have built that for you. But Etsy and EverBee Store are completely unrelated. It is your storefront. It is your home base. Also, you don't have to sell anything on EverBee Store. It could literally just be a website. Like, that's technically what mine is. Like, yeah, I sell things, but like mine is like my Evolution Designs homepage, about page, learn page. Like it goes out to all of the different things that I offer and the different ways that you can engage with me. So you do not have to worry about Etsy at all here unless you're trying to import from Etsy. And you also don't have to worry about Etsy fees at all. So I believe Etsy fees are around 9.5% of every sale right now. EverBee Store is 0. So we're not going to charge you anything at all, except for obviously the membership. Like you got to like have your store. So it is $29 a month, but after that, there's not going to be any charges whatsoever. However, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 1.5%, but don't quote me. Like I said, please go do your own research on your own business for your Stripe account. But Stripe does have credit card processing fees, but they're so minor compared to Etsy. So you will have a little bit of fees on a credit card processing, but not too grave or anything. All right. Do you have a video on how to set up subscriptions on the EverBee Store? Great question. So what they're talking about, let me see if I can share this tab again. So what they're talking about when they say subscriptions are in our apps and integration. As you can see, guys, I'm literally on my own EverBee Store. I will never gatekeep with you guys. This is the back end of my stuff. So like you don't have to, wonder if I'm using this every day because I am. So this right here is subscriptions. So this we have Printify 2 as an integrated app we have. But subscriptions basically allows you to get more monthly recurring revenue from your people by giving them something every month, or however you want to do it. So for example, going back to my Bailey Van example from earlier, the sublimation designs, she has these groups that allow you access to her 10,000 sublimation AI generated designs by paying a certain monthly fee. As you guys saw a second ago, I also have a monthly membership that people can join. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on EverBee Store. Maybe. There we go. All right. So Evolution's members only portal, for example, you'll see we have $27 a month. That includes all of these things. $47 a month in the Pro, that includes this, and then $97 for additional things, plus what you get in the other tiers. So it's super simple to build this. You literally just come over here and edit it. So what do you want the basic to cost? What do you want to be included in the basic? What benefits do they get? Those are those little check marks. What kind of button do you want? It's really, really, really simple to build this out. And it allows you the opportunity to be able to upsell people on different things they can get each month. And then what basically happens is we go back into settings and advanced, I think. Nope, that's wrong. Don't look at my stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna just don't pretend that you saw my phone number. Okay, just pretend, don't text me, please. So the next thing that you're gonna do once you decide if you want to have a subscription is this under general site settings needs to be toggled on. In this case, I'm going to toggle it off for now. But for you guys, if you want a subscription and you want people to be able to log in to the membership portal to access all of the things that are the benefits, you need to toggle this on. And then once you do, in their EverBee Store, it's not an EverBee Store, but it's the login page for them in their members portal, they're going to grant access to all of the things that you said they were going to get. And then on your EverBee Store, in the top right-hand corner, there's going to be something that says login. And that's where those people are going to be able to go to get all of your fun subscription stuff. But to answer the original question, that's first of all how you set it up. But secondarily, we also, once you sign up, like I said earlier, you're going to get access to a bunch, way too many probably, learning modules and articles made by me and the customer support team. So you guys are going to have an exact how-to on the subscriptions video as well, just about the subscriptions piece itself. I already answered this, but yes, email marketing is included with the store up to a certain number of subscribers and emails sent. This one is interesting. Products will be archived until the digital files are uploaded. On the preview, it shows all listings. I wanted to know if the customer will see these, but okay, I get it. Sorry, this is a weirdly questioned question, but I get what they're saying. So basically, when you are on the preview of your EverBee Store, so if we share this tab instead again, and we go, where am I? Sorry, you guys are just going to see my phone number. Just don't text me, please. I'm busy. I'm very busy. All right. So what we're going to do, let's see. Over here on the top, hopefully you guys can see what I see. Yes. On the top right-hand corner, you'll see preview site. So you can click this button at any time to see what your website is looking like right now. So while you're in the process of editing it, while you're in the process of making changes, whatever, you can click that button and it will allow you to preview site. So what she is saying is when she previews the site, she noticed, I'm going to go back over here real fast. She noticed that all of the products were showing. So all listings were showing, but she has not uploaded the digital files yet. So that's why this little notice is coming up from EverBee Store. It's a notice that says products will be archived until the digital files are uploaded. So on the preview, you are seeing them, but on the user's end, once you publish, they will be archived until you attach the digital product. So like we mentioned earlier, if you're moving over from Etsy, for example, you do have to re-upload each individual DP in order for that to show on your EverBee Store. So I hope that makes sense, but that is what her question was asking. All right, I think we have two more. Biggest question is, how are you driving traffic? Is it all using social media and advertising? Great question. So I'll actually share this tab again real fast. Again, I'm just showing you guys behind the scenes of my business. So you can see that I've had over almost 13,000 visitors. And I started, let's see if I can do 60 days. I'll just do 90 days. 13,700. Okay, so it was like 1,000 more, past the 30-day mark. So 13,733 people have come to my website. How in God's green earth did I get them there is the question that we have over here. So there are a bunch of different ways, of course, that you can do this. My biggest ones personally are social media, obviously, because that's what I do for a living. So social media. And then I also do have paid ads, but they're not driving traffic to evolutiondesigns.com necessarily. They're actually driving traffic to a freebie, I think. Yeah, I was like, where is it going? So I have like paid ads that are live right now that are driving traffic to a freebie, but then the freebie says evolutiondesigns.com. So like they can come back to my store through paid ads, but I am not driving traffic through that paid ad. Like the end goal of the ad is not to get to my website, but they can easily get to my website because of it. So if that makes sense. But yes, those are two ones. So you can drive traffic through paid advertising. You can drive traffic through social media. You can drive traffic through, like if you're at trade shows or something of the sort, and you have like a QR code for your business website, and you hand those out on business cards. Obviously on-site SEO as well. So the same way that an Etsy listing is built with tags, your website also needs to be built with like keywords and phrases that your ideal people are looking up, right? So keeping that in mind too, that's another way to do it. You can use, like, I'm an influencer, I'm a UGC creator. I create every single day. Today's honestly one of the first days that I have not created a UGC video for a client in like weeks. So like I every single day make videos for clients who do not want to have their face on camera, and then they put those in paid ads or pop those on their social media. So that's another option too. If you don't want to be doing it yourself, you can absolutely have someone else do it for you. But we're also going to go over a lot of this, to be honest, in your learning modules as well, like a lot. We're in the process of making a lot of videos about this kind of stuff. So like I said, when you sign up, when you're going through your onboarding process, hopefully we'll be able to help you out even deeper there. All right, last one, guys. We are at the 101:39 mark. So I am a little bit over time, but I do appreciate everyone who is still here. I hope that this was beneficial for you guys. If you did get something out of today and you got maybe a question answered that you had, or you got a question answered that I didn't even know that you had the need for the question to be answered, but it really helped shine a light, I would love to have just like a thumbs up on this video. If you don't mind booping that like button on the YouTube video itself, so this video can get out to more people just like you who are looking for help with their e-com store. All right. Last but not least, before I let you guys go today, is can a Shopify shop be moved to the new EverBee Store platform? Unfortunately, at this time, this is not a capability of ours because they're two very, very different products. So what we can do is import everything over from Etsy. We can import everything over from a Wix website, so Wix, and then you can build your website using EverBee Brain, our internal AI system. But we are not able to go from Shopify over to EverBee Store unless you do it manually. So for example, I had a Squarespace store, so they couldn't import me over. I did have to start completely from scratch. But if you've seen my 2-part website in a weekend series, part 1 went live last week, part 2 went live 2 days ago on Tuesday. I show you exactly how I built my entire website in less than like 20 hours. So that sounds like a lot of work, but I also have a very crazy business, so you guys don't have to do that. So don't worry, it will take you not that long. But if you want to go watch that series, so in case you do have to start from scratch, feel free They're both linked on the channel. So with that said, guys, that is a wrap for today. Like I mentioned, we do this every single quarter. If you guys have any questions going forward where you want me to include this in Q3, you know where to find me. Like, pop these questions on YouTube, pop these questions on Facebook. We are always here for you to get you like in real time answers for whatever things you need. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go and I will see you next Thursday. Love you. Mean it.